Cyberpunk 2077 is not going to be fixed fully. And this is not coming from any official news source. This is not coming from CDPR. This is just my, you could call it an educated guess. I've played Cyberpunk since it came out on the day one release, and those who remember how Cyberpunk became infamous for its unfinished state, uh, you will know that it was rocky to say the least. There's a lot of things in the game that just didn't work, were broken, bugged, all these things. I've never really cared for it that much. I didn't like when quests couldn't be finished, that there were a couple of bugs in side quests that made it so that you couldn't finish a quest, you couldn't click on things, just stuff like that. But other than that, there are a lot of bugs that are even in the game today, and they don't bother me. Actually, I can laugh at them most of the time. But I do want to address something that I think people still fight. There's a lot of people on one side and a lot of people on the other thinking either that the game is going to be get fixed eventually and they have fully faith in CDPR and their development team, and obviously the other side doesn't think so. And I was for a while, for a long time, I was on the first side of the things. I believed CDPR will fix things. um, I will guide you through why I have changed my mind about this, and I will tell you why it's not necessarily a problem, but nonetheless, if you think that the game will at any point achieve some kind of fully finished state, I really don't think that it's gonna happen. So I've played a quest. It's one of the side quests, but like side quests, main quests. I'm not sure how to call it. I will leave out any spoilers at all, so I will not describe the quest much, but I will show you on the screen exactly what happens at the end of the quest. This was in the game when it first released. Every playthrough I have done maybe five. I want to say five. I'm not sure now. It's close to five playthroughs with different builds and different genders of V. And this bug is not exactly as much game breaking as it is just. It seems like this is one of those things you would find on the first day of release of the game, and I have stopped playing Cyberpunk after, let's say, a month after it released, because I've played non-stop the game for since day one when it was released. I have played the game every single day until I don't know, like a month in, and that bug was there, and I remember it. Then I stopped playing for a long time. I would say it's close to a year. I stopped playing the game, and recently I started playing the game again, mostly because of the Phantom Liberty DLC that's coming up somewhere this year. I wanted to make a clean playthrough that I can bounce off of, play through the DLC with it. So I played this, among all the others, I played this side quest, and I don't know why, but the thing is about Cyberpunk's state at the moment, there's a lot of improvements, there's a lot of things that CDPR has fixed, but there are a lot of things that they haven't fixed. And like I said, my issues with the bugs in the game were minimal. There were bugs, there was always bugs, and there's bugs right now. There's problems right now, but I'm not that easily offended by them. I'm not that easily discouraged, or like I'm not annoyed by them most of the time that much. But this is something that I just never thought I will see again today. You know, what, three, yeah, it's like 3 years later, after the game released, it's still in there. And like I said, You will see it right now on the screen. I hope I edited that in. Um, this is not a bug that breaks anything necessarily, unless you are dumb and you just walk inside a hole in a map. This is not gonna like do anything because the elevator works. You can call it, you will get in, and the mission ends. And there's not no exact problem. The problem that is in this specific area of the quest is obvious. Everybody can see what's the problem. Uh, but it doesn't mess anything up. It doesn't prevent you from exiting the quest, which one of the things I would think is that this is gonna be just like, hey, you can't finish this quest, you're stuck in this level, which will be awful. But that's not the case, so it doesn't really matter that much. But after finishing this quest, I realized that this is how it's gonna be. This is probably how it's gonna end up being. And one thing that stood out to me is if if you are keeping up with news on CDPR specifically, you will know that they have recently made a next gen update for Witcher 3, which I don't want to now say it because I actually don't remember, but I do think it's running on the same engine. This is just me, like, I think that, I'm not sure. So maybe I'm completely wrong on this, that's fine. If I am, then I'm wrong. But I think it's on the same engine as Cyberpunk. And they have made, update on that game. Pretty big update, and it received well. Update is received pretty well. So if I'm right, and it's on the same engine as Witcher 3, then it's still possible they will fix it. But then again, this is one of the bigger, like, gaping holes, quite literally, and problems, because this is throughout the game. It's not bad. Like I said, most of the bugs in the game don't prevent you from progressing. That's the only time when I ever complain about bugs or glitches in a game, is when it stops you as a player from doing something, when it stops your progress. And in this game, it used to be that way, and it's not anymore. A lot of the things, if not all of the things that were problems in the game, that would stop your progress, that would stop quests from, progressing. That's not in the game anymore. I don't see it. And like I said, I'm doing a complete playthrough and I didn't see once any bug that would not let me finish a quest. So that's really good. Um, but this is a symptom of something. And yeah, I think that we have arrived at the point where Cyberpunk is just not gonna really be complete game anymore. Um, this kind of follows up on another thing that, again, if you keep up with gaming news or you're interested in CDPR in general, you will know this already. They have recently announced that they are dropping their engine. They are dropping Red Engine in favor for Unreal Engine 5. And that is great. That is great news. Which, most companies, big companies, I mean, they don't use Unreal Engine mostly because, it's open source. So most big companies want to have in-house engine that they build for their specific needs, which is understandable. But CDPR was through some rough years, and most of the problems that are in Cyberpunk are caused by the fact that their engine was halting progress because people who made the engine and people who understood the engine were not with the company throughout the development of the game, which, I mean, you can imagine that's gonna probably do some damage, which it absolutely did, and the damage can be seen today. And the problem is, once you build a game, especially a game, as vast and rich as Cyberpunk, on an engine that nobody can understand anymore, you can't really transition the game into a new engine. It just doesn't work that way. It would never. You could do it, but the amount of work you would spend on doing it basically equals to making a new video game, and that update would likely have to be free because it would be a fix. So obviously CDPR is not gonna remake the game in a different engine. They will instead keep making new titles in that new engine, which they have announced they will be doing. They have some new projects coming. There is, new Witcher 4, I think. It's a new Witcher game. I don't know if it's gonna be Witcher 4. Uh, there's other projects that they have not really, said what it's gonna be, but they have announced there's new things on the horizon for them, and they will all be in Unreal Engine 5. So yes, long story short, they are dropping the engine in favor for Unreal Engine 5, and again, I'm glad for it because if you don't have a core team, which CDPR apparently doesn't have, a core team that always is with the company no matter what, and that team understands the engine and they can work with it no matter what, who quits throughout development, something like that. If you don't have that, then it's probably best to hire people who are already skilled with an engine they already know. And Unreal Engine 5 is easy to adapt because it's open source, so you can basically learn it without being hired by anybody. And that is a big plus. So, good for them. I'm happy for that decision that they have made like this. But that doesn't stop the fact that this leaves Cyberpunk in development hell and probably never gonna get out. There's been a recent update for Cyberpunk, like 20 gigabytes, I think. I'm not sure now. And this update has a lot of, well, there's a lot of fixes in it. There's a lot of different things that they have done for the game, and they keep trying to make the game better. So I applaud that. And I never said that's my opinion. I never said it's set in stone that the game isn't gonna be fixed. But they have updated the game. They have made some new ray tracing technology for it, I think. I don't really understand. I don't remember what it's called. It's like a ray tracing, but it's different. That's all I know about it. I didn't really try it yet. So there's definitely new things going on for the game. Definitely not dead in the water yet. And they are doing the DLC, so it's safe to say they are still working with the game. They are still working on it. And with that being said, the Phantom Liberty is supposed to be the only one DLC they will make for the game. And, the only conclusion you can make from that is that after this DLC, the game will be probably dead already. Uh, I'm guessing they will still be making updates. I'm guessing the DLC will probably have bugs as well. They will try to fix along the way. No reason to think it's going to be any different than the release of the game itself. I would love to be wrong on that, by the way. Maybe it's going to be a completely different story, but at the same time, if they have problems with the engine, then I don't know why would we think that the DLC is not going to have any problems. And yeah, that is kind of my point here, is that CDPR as a company is moving on. They are making new Witcher game, like I said. They are making other new projects that we don't know what they will contain yet, but all of them are dropping engine that they are currently working with, and that is telling. You don't see this every day. You don't see big company, small company. You don't see them quite like just dropping something they have been working on for so long, like a game engine. When you make a game engine in your company, that is your heart, that is something yours, and dropping that in favor of something that different company made, basically, right? Because Unreal Engine 5 is made by Epic Games, and that is kind of that's the direction I think we should be looking in. It's basically now just up to them, up to CDPR, to take back their sort of legacy, their name, and make something better out of it than it's now, because people now hear Cyberpunk and they immediately jump to the conclusion that the game is just not finished. And to I hate to, but I agree with it. Uh, it is not finished. The game is not done. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of small things. I consider bugs like the one that I've just showed you a small bug. I don't think it breaks the game. I think it's maybe you can fall through it and die once, but it's not gonna happen the next time. It doesn't block you from anything, from any progress, from any achievements. Everything in that regard works as far as I know. And the only real problem with the game is that the quality of life in this game is not changing. They are fixing things constantly, but it's a big game and there's a lot of problems with it. And the things they have already fixed can easily fall apart again the next time they try to fix something else. That is the danger of working with an engine that you don't understand. And yeah, that's basically why I'm here today talking about Cyberpunk the way I am. A game that I played for 200 hours. I really like the game. I like the story, like the graphics, I like the way the game is played. I'm not super into RPG games in general. I didn't really like Witcher because it was RPG. I'm just not the type of player to play RPGs. Yet, in Cyberpunk, I very thoroughly enjoy the aspect of an RPG, playing different roads. I really do enjoy that in this game. The aesthetics of the game are great, the setting, all of it. Just the game is great. It's really made for me because I really like first-person shooters, so an RPG that is in first person. So this game was definitely up my alley, and it's sad to see that because of unfortunate stuff, like, there's a lot of people were fired, a lot of people have quit, and all of that happens in the middle of development. It's bound to make damage, and it definitely did, and it shows. And yeah, the way it looks right now, when I look at the game is great 95% of the time, and then you randomly stumble upon things that you just didn't think you will have to worry about anymore, and it's still in there. 3 years later, the same exact problem is in a mission I thought is already fixed, because this is one of those more important missions. It's not this, the main quest you have to go through, but at the same time, it's one of those things that you will very likely be doing. And and I doubt they don't know about it either. I think there's only two explanations. Either they just simply don't have the time to fix something like this, because really what this is just putting the door in front of the elevator. That's it. That's this texture missing, and that's it. Nothing else. So either they just don't want to bother with it, or they don't simply know how to fix it without breaking the game. Which, you may think it's a fucking door. Just put a door in there. It's never that simple, especially if you don't understand the system. So it's possible they simply don't know how to fix it without breaking maybe the entire quest. Maybe if they put the door in there the wrong way, it will never open, and that will actually make you stuck forever in that mission, which is way worse than what it is now. So maybe it's as simple as don't touch it. Maybe there's a hole in the map, but it at least works. Maybe it is just that, and I don't know that, but that is telling you something still. It's definitely telling of the way they are going, and you know, I should be glad for what I have, because right now the game is great, but it's very rough. It's in a very rough shape still compared to the image, the vision they had for it. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say. That's all I really have to say about it. If it was any other video game, by the way, I wouldn't really care about even making video about it. I care about the game. I have enjoyed the game for a very long time. I rarely play single player games for 200 hours. So this is definitely one of the games that I would love to play for 200 more if, it wasn't the way it is. So I will probably see you next time. Thanks for listening to me and my rambles. Bye.